You know, very few Nigerians would, many Nigerians, I should say, will not forget January 1st to January 16, 2012, when we had a cross-country rate of riots that was provoked by the subsidy removal announced by President at that time, Goodluck Jonathan, if you remember. Now, successive governments had been cautious about the removal of subsidy. The present regime says it has no plan to remove subsidy at this time. As a matter of fact, Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, says it would lead to chaos and instability at this time. Fuel subsidy remains a burden on the country's lean resources. There's a window of opportunity in the non-oil sector. The government expects to net $5 million in this sector. Bolaji, is Bolaji pleased about this?
Well, the first subsidy is a recurring decimal in Nigerian politics, polity, you know. And from what has been said, there are so many things that are so shrouded in that are so shrouded that you can't really understand. You know, Wale says something.
The Yoruba man says it's a conundrum.
yeah. Wale says something. We have had instances of proofs in the past where people were found to have been guilty of collecting this money without doing anything. What became of them? We have said it here. We had a particular period in this country when there were attempts to remove fuel subsidy and there was nationwide protest, riot. But they are now saying this thing must be removed. I don't have any problem with that because, like I said, it's shrouded in mystery, conundrum, you know, and nobody knows what's really happening there. We only know that there's serious corruption in this subsidy regime. So if they are going to remove this thing, they are going to remove fuel subsidy, my own take about it is that why do you want to remove it when we are going to swear in a new administration by May 29? Why not wait and if you have anything about fuel subsidy removal, no problem, give it to this administration. These are the suggestions. Because there's going to be a handover note. Why not wait for them? Let them come in and let them handle the matter the way they want to handle it. Giving them, you know, you can give suggestions, you can give ideas. That look at these are the things in your handover note. But the fact is that you just less than 2 months to spend. You know, so why not let another administration come in and handle this matter and say how you have increased worker salary? This is what you call banana peel in government. You know, why not allow this government to come in? Because if you remove subsidies today, it's going to create a lot of problem. Because right now in some states in this country, maybe Oyo State there, a liter of fuel is about 220 naira up to now. In some place, anywhere, maybe outside Ibadan, which is the capital of your state, is about 240, 250. You understand? Now you remove fuel subsidy. How will people in those areas cope? It's going to be a major problem.
Wale, but yes, I grant what he has said. Yeah. But must we kick this can along the road?
Well,
this subsidy can. We're kicking it like a child is kicking.
Well, I think one thing that I'm happy is that the decision that the current regime will not, remove the subsidy, because we already have subsidy in the budget up till around June this year.
Yeah.
So what excuse do we have to remove subsidy at this moment? And if you are a landlord, a tenant, that you are leaving the house, why should you now be talking about changing the foundation and other? So I think the best thing is that we should give you a befitting send-off. Your primary occupation should be looking at what you have done and then how you are going to, not about what kind of shares are we going to have in the room, are we going to rebuild the house and all that. Because subsidy, oil, anything oil, has to do with the pillar of the economy. If you tamper with the subsidy removal and all that at this moment, it's going to affect stability of the incoming government. Let the man has been elected by Nigerians come in just few weeks ahead. And then they can now decide, after consultation with Nigerians, you cannot set the tempo for him. You cannot set an agenda for him, because by the time you take any decision now that is irreversible, you are going to put the government in a very difficult mess.
Wale, so, do you know a little something we should interrogate here, Bolaji? He talked about what the former Emir of Kano said, okay, we have a call. Fidel is reaching us from Imo. Fidel, good evening to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate what you are discussing. I want to talk on the fuel subsidy.
Yeah.
The suspension is very, very appropriate, considering the fact that if it is done now, the hardship will even affect people at this transition period. It is better to allow the incoming government to do the needful. But then the money is collected for palliative, especially the $800 million. For God's sake, it should be used to reactivate a particular refinery. Focus on it so that there will be more supply. Of all, grant license to modular refinery operators and some artisanal refineries so that they will supplement and complement whatever the petroleum products that are available.
Thank you, Fidel.
We help
Thank you.
people. Thank you.
Yeah. Modular refineries and so on. But licenses had been given.
Yeah.
And so you are asking, is there sincerity from any part?
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, in relation to the Lamido Sanusi Lamido, is there anything like subsidy?
Well, we've always been told there's subsidy.
Okay.
We've always been told
and
there's
money
subsidy.
is paid.
Yes, money is paid to some people. Whether they are doing what they are supposed to do with the money is left to all those who are collecting the money.
While a subsidy day,
I think we have confirmed through various probe reports, even by the National Assembly, that subsidy is a scam. It's just a scam.
But people are collecting the money.
People are collecting money, doing nothing. So it has become a racket, and nobody is even interested in saying, okay, how much funds, have we lost as a country? So I think the whole thing is a scam. And even when you are removing subsidy, almost every 2-3 years, when is that subsidy you are removing? When is it going to finish?
Finish.
2 years you come and remove subsidy. The next 3 years you come and remove subsidy. So I think it's just, it's an attempt to further exploit. Nigerians have become a commodity that people can just sell and exploit anyhow. Unless we have a good government that is determined to put his feet on the ground to deal with transnational criminals that are holding Nigeria, Nigerians. Yes.
Bolaji, the IMF. Okay, I hear a Yemisi is reaching us from Lagos here. Yemisi, good evening. Welcome. Yeah.
Yes, I'm to the one calling from Abuja, Sierra Leone. I just want to tell the president to Daura and leave this country for us. He has put all of us in a mess. I'm out of it in a long time. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, subsidy.
Yes, you are talking about the $800 million.
Yeah, I was going to also mention $800 million. Yeah. I was going to also mention the World Bank has returned.
Yes.
So they are not done with us.
No, the World Bank is not done with us. Unfortunately, this $800, someone was analyzing the money and saying, how are they going to do it? How are you going to, it's a palliative fund, actually. So are you going to give Nigeria 8,000 naira each? But the fact is that, where is this, how much, to what extent will this money solve the problem that will occur with the first subsidy removal, the so-called first subsidy removal? Do we have electricity that will galvanize the economy? We don't have it. Because if we are removing subsidy, it's not about giving money to people. You have to also ensure that you teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
Not about giving them fish, but how to fish. That's how to survive on their own, how to do things on their own, how to ensure that they are able to survive when the subsidy is eventually removed. Unfortunately, that's not likely to be the case because this $800 million, where is it going? To what extent will it help the situation on ground? And apart from that, I even learned that about 53 million out of that amount was used for consultants. It is worrisome. $53 million?
Well, when I asked earlier on if we were damned, you are not sure what to tell me.
Yeah, I'm certain that we should be hopeful, You know, if you look at the history of several countries all over the world, they passed through very difficult times until, you know, real men came up to salvage, you know, their country from stupor. So I have hope that we have a lot of good Nigerians that at the appropriate time. I don't want to be hopeless. I still have confidence that Nigeria is going to be free. You know, it may be a matter of time. I think just a question of time. No country has ever endured, you know, repression, oppression for forever. You know, look at Rwanda. People thought it was a hopeless country, but somehow, unfortunately, they had to pass through a civil war. But we pray we don't go through a civil war before our leaders can see our tears with their eyes. They don't need to wait until we are shedding blood. We have suffered a lot, so they need to understand our pains and do the right thing.
We are joined by Thompson. Thompson is in Plateau State. I greet you, Thompson. Good evening to you.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I want to lay my voice on the issue of the subsidy removal. In the first place, I'm highly disappointed with Mr. President, Mr. President Buhari, who happens to be as the Minister for Petroleum. Before he's coming to power, he keeps saying that there's nothing like subsidy. Subsidy is a scam. And I expected him, being a frontline man, that when he comes in, he will prove to us that really subsidy is a scam. But I've got to see that under his own regime, which is record of anti-corruption fight, subsidy became even worse than even under the previous government that we say is a corrupt government. I mean, I look at the last issue of $800 million that will be collected from the World Bank. 20,000 million Nigerians will be households will be given.
Thank you, Thompson. Thank you, Thompson. Again, we are living in a very interesting times. Yeah. You know, you remember the late Dr. Taishan used to say something like, "May your road be rough.
Yeah. May you have a hard time this year."
Yeah. But we have had one hard time too many.
We have had too many tough times. And one thing we should also learn from Dangote, an individual, a company, is building a refinery, a whole country. Are we saying that it's bigger than the entire Southwest, bigger than the entire Southeast? So if Dangote can build refinery, how long are we going to continue to pound pounded yam that we produce the yam? We have the mortar here. We go and pound it in London.
You know, the man who called
you
us
have
from
crude
Imo,
oil. You now go and refine abroad and bring it in again.
The man who called us from Imo talked about modular refineries.
Yeah.
But I remember that licenses were awarded.
What happened?
What happened?
Nigerians will not allow things to work because of their interest. Some Nigerians, some powerful Nigerians will not allow things that will be of benefit to everyone else to work because of their own selfish interest, because they do not stand to gain from all this working.
Bolaji, is it an interest thing to say that the 4 refineries are down, but do you know the workers there are receiving salaries?
Yes, they have not been laid off because one day they will
maintenance.
They have to maintain.
They've sent so much, turnaround of refineries.
They are always turning around the. They are always turning around the.
Is it by choice?
Well, I want to think that we know the right thing to do. We are just not doing it. Because you cannot say you have about 4 refineries across the country and none is working. You now have to bring in you get the crude here, you send it abroad, and then they refine it and send it back. What kind of country is that? So are we not ashamed of ourselves? Don't we have shame at all? These people that are saying they are our leaders, are they not ashamed at all that they are doing this? What kind of country are they presiding over?
And we have become a big joke.
Yeah, we are a joke
in the international community.
I can't understand it.
This same Nigeria. Same Nigeria.
Nigeria that people were begging, that were borrowing money for, that example to the entire world in those days. It's very unfortunate. And I'm even ashamed on behalf of my country. I'm very much ashamed that we are like this.
All right, the second leg of the story is that we expect to make $5 million, I hope that's the figure, from non-oil revenue.
Yeah, if we are serious, if we are determined, non-oil revenue is a whole lot of funds can come in there. But yes, we are going to make billions. What are we going to do with the funds? What is our strategic, plan for today, for tomorrow, and for the future? What are we doing about tourism potentials, that lay all over the country? What are we doing about agriculture? What are we doing about our, our high seas, fishing? We still import fish from, and we have, whole, vast ocean, with millions of.
We have a waterfront.
Yeah, waterfront, and then we import fish and all that. So it's very shameful, So we are going to make a lot of fun, but what are we going to do with that money?
Bolaji, and to think that in 2023 we are importing palm oil.
It is unfortunate. Or is it not this country that gave Malaysia the palm seedlings? Yes. Unfortunately. You see, in this country, it was in this country that we were making waves without oil. In those days, it was a cocoa, it was agri, that was the mainstay of our economy then, before oil discovery came. But when oil came, everybody forgot the farm. The government that followed that coming had always said we go into non-oil sector, we go and promote it, we go and ensure that, unfortunately, these are all these things are all being the breach.
I always talk about it. It's like singing, like it's one song. Wale, do you remember that the second largest deposit of bitumen in the whole world
it's in Nigeria.
Is in Nigeria.
In Ondo State.
And we are not exploiting it.
At all.
But we prefer to import bitumen.
Yeah.
That's man-made.
It's just
Of course, it's man-made because we don't have the capacity. We are developing the capacity.
Bolaji, let's take, Anthony is reaching us from Lagos here. Tony, good evening to you.
This is Joe.
I greet you, sir.
Yeah. Why is it our president's body language behaving there? The government of the day, why are they behaving as if it was another party that is in power? It's a question. Because they were telling us, what they are doing is showing that it's another party entirely that is coming into power. That is my own thinking.
Yeah.
And what do you see?
I wonder too.
Yeah.
So
it's very unfortunate. And what he says is right.
Yeah.
Because if it's the same party that's coming to power, I think what you have done is to ensure that the party that's coming to power, which is your own party, will have a seamless administration, come in and everything will go smoothly for them. Well, you can't be putting banana peels on the floor for them, which I felt the issue of subsidy removal, everything is because you should allow them to take their own decision. Allow them to do what they think is right. Allow them to ensure that we have a good economy. And you cannot teach them what to do because you have been there for 8 years. If you have been there for 8 years and you do achieve then what do you want to do within the next few weeks that you are living? Let the incoming administration do what is needful, what is right, and don't put a banana peel for them.
But Wale, my mind goes to Professor Chinua Achebe now, bless his soul. He wrote that book, There Was a Country. I remember there was a country in this country.
There was a country.
But we can go back to that country. We can.
It's possible, like Wale said, it's possible, but we need men of goodwill, men that will know that men of vision. But unfortunately, do we always allow men of vision to always get there? Do we always? No.
Putting round pegs in round holes.
That's always been the problem of this country. And when people are complaining that this person is not doing the right thing, what do we do about it? Nothing. There have been complaints over the years that even in this good administration that look, there's some people that are not doing what they're supposed to do. Has anything ever happened? Nothing.
Wale, Bolaji is talking about one cankerworm in this country, impunity.
Yeah. If you have good leaders that show good examples, everything will fall in line.
As we always cry on this program, punish bad behavior.
Yeah. If you let your cabinet have people of impeccable character. If you are driving on the road and you see the policeman takes the wrong traffic, you will follow him. If the law man can break the law, so why should I obey the law?
Exactly.
So if you can get credit, people now waiting for the new government, scrambling. But it is your responsibility of the government to look at credible people, honest people that can transform this country.
Also,
before it is too late.
Also, Nigerians, we should also be good citizens too. we should also be good
Because many Nigerians don't love this country.
Exactly. We should also be good citizens because we are talking about the leadership. What about the followership too?
All right.
It's a very important thing.
I have a quotation here from French economist Frederick Bastiat. He said, when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral case that glorifies it.